Look what I got. Ooh, fancy today.
What you got?
You know what's funny? A couple days ago, I was watching one of our old videos, and I remembered that. Hi, Adrienne. Tara had talked about this one thing. You know, she had this vodka sitting around for like years, and then somebody told her about the ginger beer vodka mix, and the next thing you know, it was all gone.
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, I'm going to try that."
Nice.
I got this thing here. How you doing, Adrienne?
Good. How are you?
Good. What have you got? Is that a real background or a
That is my real background.
Okay,
it just a fake background.
It's like you had something like shine, and you have an aura. You have like something shining around your.
It is probably my little desk light because this corner of my house is dark.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Well, so you're feeling 85%?
I'm closer to 95%. I haven't gotten my taste back yet, and I can't smell anything. But
no,
you know,
sounds
I'll take
like
it.
the worst part. I hate the idea of not smelling and tasting. I mean,
there are a lot of other ideas you hate about it too. I do not recommend. They get like 0 stars on Yelp for COVID.
Yeah, that stinks.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm glad you're feeling better.
And I feel much.
I'm starting to get some thunder over here.
It's been funny. I've been like, I don't demo as often as I used to, obviously. And all week I've been in Razor's Edge. I don't know why. It's like people are asking me questions. Today I was in it for your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm in it again. It's kind of nice. It's like an old friend.
Mm-hmm.
I should take my glasses off. Is there a glare? Now I can't see.
Oh, glasses are fine. No, I know what you mean with the glare. That's okay. It'll be fine.
I can't see a thing without these things on. It's like I feel like I'm sitting at my computer way more than I used to.
I feel the same way. I feel like I'm constantly here.
Mm-hmm. And my job has always been at a computer, but I think when I was in the building, I was able to talk to people more and like do some face-to-face stuff. And now I'm just
it's like the face-to-face meetings, I think, that have moved to the computer that make you feel like you're always in one spot. Like by the end of the day, I'm like, I need to get out of this room.
Yes.
I've been thinking about like revamping this room because I'm kind of over it, you know?
Yeah, I want to buy another house and get my own dedicated office.
I know. I've been thinking
COVID gets you thinking.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, Shayne, I was thinking about how you swapped houses 2 summers ago.
Mm-hmm.
How did you figure that out? Was it like a website or something? I mean, not that I'm trying to do
yeah. Swapped houses with the people in Colorado.
Yeah.
We networked with some friends. I mean, it was we just kind of got the word out, and some friends of ours knew somebody, so that was just luck. But there's a new app for that. There's a new app for house swapping. I saw it pop up a couple days ago.
Huh.
It's like an Airbnb thing, except you're just swapping houses.
Yep. It's like Airbnb, but you're swapping.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about, Adam doesn't need to go in the office anymore. I've never had to be in the office, and I don't know if we're going to be in the office again anytime this year. So
we're not.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So I was like, I mean, we don't even need to be here in Charleston, but of course we have a mortgage to pay. So it's not like we can just like rent whatever we want. But I was like, maybe we could just like switch with somebody or something.
Yeah. Well, we had a pretty good experience with that. I mean, they messed up one of our curtains. So I think one of the kids got their hair dyed, and they got this hair dye all over the place. It was kind of crazy. But other than that, it was fine. They didn't burn the place down. Hello, Tara.
Girls? Hi. Sorry, I'm tardy.
That's okay. No, we're talking about house swapping.
Oh, I'd be into that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We stayed in
Tara, we
Colorado.
could swap houses.
There you go. If you like Chicago, that would be fun.
And we have the toys. Like, we wouldn't even have to bring toys.
Right?
Now we're on to something. This is actually a brilliant idea.
I like where this is going.
Are your in-laws still there, Tara?
They are.
Yeah.
My I've been in a couple of meetings, Lauren. I don't know if you've noticed, but my mother-in-law walks around in the background. I'm just like, I'm just gonna ignore that she's there.
Does she know you're working? Does she know you're like on meetings?
Yeah.
And stuff?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're talking about internal meetings, not.
Well, this afternoon it was definitely a client call, and I just see her walk right behind me.
That's hilarious.
Like,
awesome.
it's all right, special appearance.
My
That's
6-year-old
funny.
does the same thing. I'm hoping she stays upstairs. Like she'll come
Yeah.
get right in my lap in the middle of the meeting.
Hilarious.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm thankful mine went back to daycare because that's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
You want to do some music?
Do it.
Ready.
Ready.
Y'all are here?
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see them moves, Adrienne.
I don't have any. I'm not the best dancer.
There we go.
Shayne's feeling it.
There we go.
That was good.
Okay, switch headphones again. This
That
is how
was good.
sophisticated I am with my.
You did a good job though on the cut.
Sophisticated.
The cut was
Boom.
like just right.
Perfect.
Tara, oh, by the way, everybody, my name's Shayne Floyd.
I'm Lauren Holzer.
Tara Pawlowski.
And Adrienne Chisolm.
We have a special guest today. Adrienne Chisolm is with us.
We're pumped.
Yay! Thanks for coming, Adrienne.
Welcome
Pleasure.
to the basement series.
We a couple weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, on one of our sessions, Tara said she had this vodka sitting around the house, and somebody told her about mixing it with ginger beer, and next thing you know, that vodka was gone. It had been sitting there for years, and all of a sudden it got drank up. So I said, I ran out of beer a couple days ago, and I said, I'm going to try that trick that Tara told us. So I got this fancy, it's pretty delicious. I
Yeah.
squeezed some lime. It was like half vodka, half ginger beer, and some
You
lime.
Moscow muled it.
Mm.
Yum.
Good stuff.
Oh, yeah, baby.
I'm cocktailing it up too. I did a Negroni.
All right, we
Your
go.
favorite
We've already had that talk.
pierogi. Having a pierogi.
Wherever you eat for dinner.
I've got a truly hard, well, there we go. Truly hard seltzer grapefruit
Nice.
in
Nice.
a Bud Light seltzer koozie.
So
Oh,
classy.
controversy.
What's
I'm
your-
sticking with the Canada Dry Ginger Ale today.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah.
She's
I
crazy.
do
Yeah.
love my ginger ale. We're
I do
actually
too.
out right now where I'm like, oh God, I gotta get some.
I do love ginger ale.
Yeah, same.
Is
Same.
Canada Dry your brand? Like, do you go off brand?
Yeah, I will go off brand.
Okay.
I'm not married to it, but
Yeah.
you know, I usually like to mix it with like cranberry juice because
Mhm.
then when I was pregnant a long time ago, it tastes like champagne
Ooh.
to someone who can't drink
Those
alcohol.
mocktails,
Oh,
delightful.
To someone who can't drink alcohol.
okay.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah,
in
that
the mix
sounds
of
refreshing.
rosé.
I like
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
what
I
I
like
did.
Mike's Hard Lemonade and stuff. But
Oh, yummy.
after I leave the basement, I actually have to go places today. So
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
We could just do a quick intro on Adrienne, and we're not quite ready to jump into too serious on the topics yet. But Adrienne's been at Blackbaud for a long time. One of her areas of expertise is data cleanliness, so we're going to get some of her insight on that. But it's a topic that comes up with my customers a lot. Like, our data's a mess. It's a wreck, duplicates, bad addresses, deceased people, stuff like that. So we're just going to talk about that today and see if we can offer some tips and tricks. But before we get into that, what's been going on in everybody's life? I've had just a hectic week again, but today was just slammed up. What about you
Yeah.
guys?
It's been a long week.
it's been busy. It's been
Yeah.
a busy year, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a really busy year.
For
Agreed.
sure. Most of my shelter clients that I've talked to are holding their own on the fundraising revenue. They're doing fine. They're doing well, but they have other program service revenue that is kind of dried up or is definitely hurting. So, for example, they're spay neuter clinics. They just don't have the flow of business. They might even be shut down in some cases. Certainly, the event revenue is off and things like that. But so far, just anecdotally, I feel like people are holding their own on the fundraising front. They just got to make up for that other lost revenue, which is hard.
Yeah,
So I'm
that
hearing
is hard.
that.
It's also
Yeah.
a healing time for your database. And I know we're talking about data health today, but if there is time to do other things, cleanup is this great
I hear
time to
that.
clean
It is
up.
a great time for
Like
that.
people are doing it in their houses, they're reorganizing stuff,
Yeah.
redecorating stuff.
Clean it all up, database and all.
Exactly.
Clean out that
exactly.
closet.
No, that's a
Yep,
good
that's right.
point. That's a very good point. And sort of, I actually started doing the files on my computer, but if I had a database to clean up, I think that would be good too. Sort of time to, I don't know, it's like spring cleaning never happened because spring was so weird.
Mhm.
So it's now spring cleaning or something.
Yep.
I
What do you-
actually attempted to
project.
go clean out my closet the other day, but I couldn't really let go of anything, sadly
Yeah?
enough.
Oh,
I,
boy.
I like went through the different rows, looked at the shoes, and I'm like, no, I'm not going out of my house enough to wear half of it. So where I'm like, I could still wear that when we get back to normal.
Yes.
I'm not ready to let it go.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
you
if I
get
can
me in
still
front,
fit it.
right?
I don't know about.
The COVID-15.
Yeah.
You get me to a database, I can clean that out. No
Yep.
qualms about it.
That's a good point, Tara. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I don't think I can clean anything out because I don't know what I'm going to wear again. And
Exactly.
also, I did. So there was a big sale on this website that I shop on, and I was like, well, I should probably get some loungewear for fall.
Yes.
Today.
Loungewear.
That remote lifestyle.
Like stretchy pants, some like nice fleece pull.
Hilarious.
Nice on Zoom.
I got on a client call this afternoon, and I've talked to him a couple times, and she was just like, Tara, you just always look so professional with that headset. I'm like, from the waist up, that's all you got to do, Deb. Waist up.
Now I got some cute little sassy dresses,
Yeah.
that are lounging, but would still be appropriate for work
Yes.
Yeah.
on
Same.
television.
I did the same. I got a sweatshirt dress. We're going to see how it goes.
Yeah.
For errand running, as long as you can go to the grocery
Yes,
store
yes.
and not feel like, you just rolled out of bed, it is
Mhm.
appropriate.
Yeah.
But
Meanwhile,
still comfortable.
Shayne's in his button-up shirt from H&M.
I mean, oh yeah.
He
Right.
just
I don't know
just
where I
threw
got
that
this,
on
actually.
before this
Where I got
call.
this. No, I dressed up, so I took a shower and went, got all ready for
I take
today.
a shower. I just put back on the clothes I was wearing before.
I do that regularly, actually. I mean, well, maybe
I wonder how laundry detergent's
certain things are
doing.
new.
Yeah, right.
Did you
Yeah.
see a sweatshirt dress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What
See
in
how
the
it goes.
world? I can't get my head wrapped around it. I have no idea.
Google.
Oh, that's
Please don't tell your
cute.
designer daughter because she will be
Okay.
appalled.
Girl.
He's like, I'm gonna go
Does it
holler
have a
at
little
her.
hood on it?
Mm.
Or
This
is it
one
just
is the
sweatshirt
collar.
material?
It's just like got a collar and it's green. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I might return it if I,
I
don't
can't
like
wait
it.
to see this.
Sometimes
This is
even
gonna
if it's-
be on an episode for
It's
sure.
arriving today, so I'll let you know if it arrives. I'll
Heck
take a
yeah.
pic.
Next,
Sometimes
I'll wear it
we'll
on the
have
next
those-
podcast.
for sure.
Yes, and model it.
I insist.
But sometimes some of those clothes, I'm like, no, I can't throw it away. That's a good when I'm sitting in front of the computer. I still look great, even though like I'm not very fond of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great collar on it.
Right?
Yeah, it's got a
Right?
really
Legs
good
and the neck.
collar.
Very
The neck matters a lot.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I actually did think twice because I was wearing a tank top and I was like, whatever. Looks
I want one
professional.
too.
So my husband's interviewing for jobs and I said, Adam, when you go to an interview on Zoom, make sure you put pants on. Because I've heard, and I don't know if y'all have heard this, that
I've seen
interviewers will make you stand up to see what you're wearing. And if you're wearing sweatpants on the bottom. So then my friend Adam was like, no. You wear those sweatpants because then you could stand up and be like, I don't know. He was just saying like, it was just, that's ridiculous. Like, why would you, if they made you stand up, then
I don't know if I'd want to work
for
there.
them.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
disqualification.
I don't know.
Well, I would be thinking it's
Kinda
more
weird.
psychological than impressing somebody. I want to feel professional. I want to feel, well, maybe not. Actually, I wear t-shirts almost every day. But point being, I stand up all day. That is one difference. So it's not that I'm trying to impress somebody. I just feel more energy when I stand up. So
Yeah.
if I were doing an
I-
interview, I'd want to be standing up.
Definitely
Oh.
a factor too. I feel when I interviewed for Blackbaud, it was entirely remote, and I totally had on my power suit, but I
Mhm.
didn't have shoes. I didn't have to worry about the shoes. That was the
There
one
you
thing
go.
that I was like, I can let that go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could be
yeah.
comfortable.
Well, he said everybody's been very casual in interviews. Like, I mean, he's mostly working with tech companies, and they're mostly in polos. So that's what that's been his
Yeah.
Yeah.
outfit of choice.
It's a
Yeah.
good
We're a
go-to.
couple of months in now. People are starting to get comfortable with the new normal.
Is it comfortable or giving up? Because I feel like I'm giving up.
Yeah, right. I'm definitely not comfortable with it. You're right.
This morning I was like, I'm just wearing yoga pants again. I don't care.
Embracing it. I think
Yeah.
they're embracing it, not quite giving up. They're just embracing their new normal. Because
There you go.
at first we thought this is just going to last a couple of weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah.
We now know it's.
We now know
longer
it's
than that.
forever.
Now you
know,
need more yoga pants.
It's forever.
Yeah.
I like your positive spin there, though, Adrienne.
Yeah,
But I
do
bought a
too.
lot of yoga pants just after.
Yeah.
I bought
Me
a
too.
lot, all different lengths. I mean,
Yeah. Your whole closet's just
Yoga
like
pants
yoga
for all
pants.
seasons.
actually, I bought a bin to go at the foot of my bed for, we'll call them my give up clothes.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't even need to go to the closet. I can just get them from the storage bin now at the foot
Your
of my bed.
comfortable clothes.
Right.
Nobody's
right.
giving up here.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
My acceptance clothes is
I
what they
like
are.
that.
Yeah,
Who
yoga
needs
pants,
nice
tank tops,
closets now?
hoodies,
Yeah. Nobody
You don't
needs
need to
nice
fold that.
closets. You just need a
Yeah.
bin.
work dresses,
That's right.
It's like, what am I going to wear today? I don't
Exactly.
know. What will I pull out?
Mhm.
Love
guys-
it.
All the nice
What's
stuff's still in the
hilarious?
closet.
I mean, you're describing my life right now. It's hilarious. I would be so embarrassed to show you my room, my bedroom with my bins.
No. Embrace
Close.
it.
Mhm.
Embrace it.
My God.
Nice,
Funny.
got nice little, it's really a nice bin though. It's like upholstered on top.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh.
See,
Those little storage things.
that makes it
Oh,
acceptable.
And
That makes
that's
it
practical right there.
Yeah, and my
Ain't
daughter can sit
nobody
on
mad
it and
about
watch
that.
TV. Yeah.
Yeah. You
So
can
it's like
sit
it's a
on
storage
it. You
bench,
can store
technically.
stuff. Yeah.
Mhm.
I like it.
I dig it.
Let me, I want to, let me send a note. Hang on one second. Hang on one second.
I will say, I feel like my house has gotten like more comfortable, like all the features outside. Like we've like put up curtains on our porch for when the sun comes in. I feel like being home has made me more homey, which normally, I mean, not, I love decorating my home and everything, but I feel like I've been more thoughtful about what's comfortable at my house.
Well, you're there all the
Yeah,
time.
all the time.
So.
Yeah.
And we're trying to like make use of space that we don't normally use. Like our porch we love, but in the summer it's hard to sit out there. So we're trying to make it more,
Mhm.
usable or something.
Yeah.
So
You mentioned something a minute ago that got my attention. I wanted to circle back and ask you about. You said you're cleaning up your files on your computer,
mhm.
right? So how do you organize your stuff on your computer?
I do it in folders and it's all different. I mean, I have a lot of stuff from like products, like certain cheat sheets I might have for certain things or, maybe even presentations that I've done. So I organize it basically in folders in SharePoint.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did is I went through and deleted a lot of old stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then move stuff around too. And also I have a lot of new stuff that is not in folders because I keep a lot of stuff on my desktop, which I know is like, don't tell IT.
Oh, you got to get that in OneDrive, girl.
So I'm moving
but
a lot
it
of
backs
it
it
into
up to
OneDrive.
OneDrive. When you have to switch computers, it backs it up to the OneDrive.
Yeah.
It
What,
does?
the desktop?
Stuff on your desktop, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I
got to
think you
drop
can.
it into like the OneDrive, but yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I think I've told you all this before, but many years ago, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, I read this book called Getting Things Done.
Mhm.
And it was really prescriptive on how you structure folders and the importance of foldering. And it was mostly, at the time I read it, it focused a lot on hard copy stuff. It's all an inbox, not just your Outlook inbox, but your mail that comes in and whatever. But the physical foldering system and the electronic foldering system, the concepts were the same. But over
Mhm.
time, I've developed this habit of just making sure I've got keywords so that I can search. So I really could, like, I go into OneDrive at the highest level, and if I've got a keyword of Humane Society of Charleston, you know, or something like that. I mean, I mostly focus on keyword searches now electronically. But so I've gotten away from foldering. I was just curious if you guys had something that was working or not. Like, if I tell you, one thing that drives me crazy is when somebody sends me an email and the customer's name, if it's a customer related email, customer's name is nowhere in the email, not in the body of it, not in the subject line. I'm like, I'll never find this later when I go back and go, what was that thing? You know,
I love the calendar request that doesn't have the client's name on it, where you're like, who am I
that's
talking
brilliant.
to?
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Or have anything in it.
Right? You're like,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
Yeah. Block time. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So, okay, well, let's jump on in unless y'all want to chit chat some more. I'm ready. I'm ready to
Yeah,
talk.
let's talk. I mean,
Let's do
that's a
it.
good segue, actually.
So,
Do you want me to share my screen?
we can, or why don't we do this to start with? You want, Adrienne? Here's the backdrop. Somebody, you've been at Blackbaud for a long time, but somebody just came in yesterday and offered you an amazing job to go work for a nonprofit that you really love and believe in. I don't know who your favorite nonprofit is, but I would be interested in you answering that question. So, question one is, if it was your dream nonprofit, and it may be one that doesn't exist today, just create it and you tell us about it.
Ooh,
But
I
anyway,
like that.
you got that job, you're starting there tomorrow, and the CEO has already said, look, our database is a wreck. It's got all kinds of problems. My number one priority for you is to clean this thing up. I want clean data. Boom. You tell us what you're going to do.
Well, if it was my favorite nonprofit would have to probably something to do with kids, or social service agencies. I was a sociology major in college many years ago, and so probably something like that. I actually used to work for a social services agency before I came to Blackbaud. So something like that. But if someone said, Adrienne, what's the first thing we need to do to clean up our database? I would probably start checking for holes first. Let's see where stuff is blank, and that's just simple querying. Like, how many people have blank addresses? Like, I do a database assessment.
Okay.
We do database audits at Blackbaud.
Let's go ahead and pull up the screen. So if you had that role, you would
I'm
jump
not
in there.
doing a query on demand.
Okay, that's fine. But we're just, so in case people know, people want to know,
No, just pull up a record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pull up a record.
Like any
That's
record.
great.
Hey, Shayne, you need to allow me to share.
Oh yeah. Dang it.
Need a checklist, Shayne. All the rights you need to give us.
Do you want the record in NXT or
In
7?
database view, if you give it to me.
Yeah, let me log in.
I could put you in the waiting room
Most of the
if I need
database
to.
cleanup is probably going to happen in the database view, except for like the stuff that's in the data health stuff that's automated in NXT.
Gotcha.
There we go. Okay, got it.
All right. Let me pull it up. My old friend, Razor's Edge 7. So when I started working at Blackbaud, NXT came out like 2 months later.
Wow.
Yeah, so I learned everything and I had used Razor's Edge as a client.
I'll make you laugh. I was actually working at Blackbaud when Razor's Edge 7 was released. And it was actually released on my birthday, which
on
is
your
tomorrow.
birthday.
Stop.
We
That's a
started-
fun fact.
Yeah, we started shipping it out on my birthday.
Wait, your
July
birthday's
31st.
tomorrow?
It
Happy early
is.
birthday.
Thanks.
Uh-oh, I think I just made I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to switch my screens here and then I'll share this. Okay, there we go.
And I'll just tap while you're doing that. But like the first thing I probably would do is like look for the holes. Because if you can do just basic queries in your database, then you can see, just like open up any record, any individual record.
Come on, Razor's Edge, let's go.
You can take an assessment of what you have.
The infamous database view.
Yes.
don't know why it's not letting
Like
me.
I actually worked in support for 4 years at Blackbaud, so I happen to love the database view.
I don't mind it. It's still
Yeah.
just as powerful as ever.
Yep. Just any record, yeah.
There we go. Sorry.
Yep, at least for cleanup and for finding stuff. So a lot of clients will find that the issues with their database is probably not as extraordinarily terrible as they think it is. When you walk fresh into an organization, you might think, oh my goodness, everything is bad, everything is terrible, all of these people are lost, but really just doing an assessment of what is truly missing, like how many blank addresses you have. Every record in Razor's Edge has a preferred address. Every last one, that's the one that shows up on the bio one. So it doesn't have to be called anything in particular, but everyone's got a preferred address. So how many of my preferred addresses are blank? So I would do that. How many are missing? Addresses and salutations, things like that. Then you can set up your projects, right? So like we were talking about your house and like you've been in it for a really long time and and like little projects that you want to do, storage things that you're creating or whatnot, you can start creating your project. So the first thing I would do is look for everything that's missing. Just do some basic queries like how many pieces of gender information am I missing and all that good stuff. Fun fact, we actually have a database audit that we can do some of this stuff for you at Blackbaud as a part of your database audit. So we can tell you like kind of more deeper information of like how many addresses are bad, which is even better. How many people are missing gender information or missing birth date information, that kind of stuff. How many people don't have any phone numbers or email addresses, and then kind of give you a score. And you can get that in your NXT in the web view. But that's the first thing I would do. The first thing I would do is an assessment to see where I am, what's missing, and then I know where to go next. Then the next thing I would do.
So that when you say when you figure out what's missing, I'm sorry, you did give a couple of examples. So you said, well, is there like
my addressee salutations, like do I have them on every record? Right? Because these are how I'm going to mail to people. And it really depends on what kind of shop I am too, right? Am I a mailing shop or do I do mostly phone calls? Are we just really interested in major donors? Am I doing, one-to-one contact? That'll kind of set me up for what the next things I need to do. But I would really start with biographical information and then the different pieces of information I need to approach my donors. So like biographical information, am I missing titles? Because you really can't create an addressee salutation without a title. Right?
Well, and that's the stuff that they see. So that's the communication they're going to get. So they're going to know if it's not accurate.
Right.
Doesn't look so good on your part either.
Exactly. If I need to create titles, do I need gender information? Is my gender information?
We're not going to put Lauren on the spot to run a query, but what you're describing is you would run a query that says, give me every record that has the field of title blank.
Correct.
Here's some.
So
here's some already built. So invalid address or blank preferred
preferred address. Exactly.
There you go. If it's got blank preferred address, and it'll give you a whole list and say, here are out of your 140,000 records, you've got 14,000 that don't even have an address.
Correct.
And you would start saying, okay, you're wrapping your head around this. This is the type of insight you want to see to kind of assess the problem, if you will. The overall problem is, gosh, we've got a lot without address, or we've got a lot without title, a lot without addressee and salutation. If you don't mind, go just a little further on that. Like, what are all the things you would consider important? Like, gosh, if we're going to have a good, clean, healthy database, we should be having these fields.
Well, the very first thing you need to have is an address.
Yeah.
That is the foundation for everything. You need to have an address, and not just have an address, you need to have a good address, right? So it needs to be a valid address. And a valid address is one that can be fully standardized, which means you have to have the line of transfer, the delivery point code, carrier route, that kind of information, and the zip +4. Every good address can have all of those pieces of information, and it needs to be the right person's address, right? So Adrienne Chisolm's address needs to be Adrienne Chisolm's address, and so address is foundation for everything. The next thing, depending on the kind of shop I am, I'm looking for good phone numbers. Well, no. The next thing, I want to remove all the deceased people from my database.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there's really no point in getting a phone number or email address or whatnot for someone who is deceased.
Would you remove them or would you archive them?
I would mark them as deceased.
Okay.
Right. I mean,
mark as deceased. Gotcha.
Yeah, I would mark as deceased. If that was the only person that you had a relationship with, then depending on your database size and your personal needs, you may want to consider removing them from your database. I'm that person that likes to keep lots of stuff. Like I have every PowerPoint that I have had from almost the 22 years I've been here at Blackbaud. Because you never know when you're going to need that historical information. But if you're a massive organization, if you've got hundreds of thousands of records, you probably want to start, considering removing those.
Well, and I think that historical data goes a long way because you remove somebody completely out that you knew was deceased, but they're a family member, and somehow you get that name again, and then you're going through the cycle of what if you accidentally try to reach out to that person?
Exactly.
You were informed of that information and you just kind of, ditched it. So I think it's important to keep some of that around. I totally agree.
Yeah, we have, of course, a lot of clients have tribute giving. So even if that person's dead, a gift might be in their honor. And so you have a record.
You definitely need to keep them for that because you can't even do that whole process without having in database.
When I worked at hospice, and it probably does depend on the work. A hospice organization is going to keep their deceased records because that makes a lot of sense, but perhaps not, 15 years ago, some person that never gave a gift. I mean, you could have a conversation about whether or not you want to keep that.
Yep.
And then probably the next thing I would do would be, well, as part of addressing, but after you remove or the code the deceased people, you need to code your invalid addresses. And those might be something that you probably do as a part of step 1, or you can do it as part of step 3. But by coding your invalid addresses, so if you are running an NCOA service, whether you're doing it through Blackbaud or you're doing it through somebody else, you're going to get back certain information, or at least you need to make sure that you get back certain information. And that's going to be like move no forwarding address, or PO box closed. So those flags that let you know that that person has a new address and they no longer live there, so that you're coding your records and you can stop mailing to them at that address, because that is a waste of money. I want to say that data health isn't attractive. I used to call it data deodorant. It is not the most flashiest thing that you can do for your data, but I mean, have you ever been around somebody who hadn't been using deodorant? So
there you go. I love it.
That's awesome.
I mean, so it's really important. It's not flashy, it doesn't, not like the full face of makeup, but it
pays off.
It does. It pays its dividends. So you want to code those addresses, and anything that cannot be standardized. And that's a step that the clients make a lot of times. So like if you're running an NCOA and you're getting back the lot, cart, and DPC code, all of your good addresses will be standardized. If they're not standardized, you need to code them so that you can stop mailing to them.
That is a good trick.
Yes, you need to code them, and it's really easy. You can do a query, the same kind of query you use for exclusion. Preferred address DPC code is blank.
What is DPC?
What is DPC? Delivery point code.
Okay.
And
It's this delivery point code. Yep, you can. Yep. All of those fields are actually in Razor's Edge. So if you're using someone who's not Blackbaud for your NCOA, you need to make sure you're getting all of that information from whoever your vendor is and putting it in there. If you're using Blackbaud, we're automatically putting it in there, so you don't have to worry about that.
What is it? Preferred address is not DP code?
Oh, the DPC code is blank.
Oh.
You can use any of those codes. You can use the line of transfer, the DPC, the lot, the cart, and the DPC, those 3 codes. All 3 of them need to be there for it to be a really valid address.
And that would be in address fields of the query.
Correct.
Got it.
Okay. I'm not sure I've fully grasped that, but I'll go back and watch this video and get my head wrapped around it. But,
well, basically, those are the codes that are needed to create the barcode. So like when you get mass mailings and you have a little barcode on them, those are the fields that are needed to create that barcode.
Mm-hmm. And if you try to mail without that, the U.S. Post Office is not very happy with you. They want that stuff there.
If you don't have all 3, you're probably going to get back a yellow sticker. And I like call those yellow stickers badges of shame.
Yeah.
because
yeah.
it means
It's what it feels like, right?
Right. Yeah, those are badges of shame, and those are you'll get back the that number does not exist on this street. You know, so those stickers that where you've already spent the money to have a mail piece created, and you've spent the postage to send that mail piece and the energy to send all that information to your mail house or to send it out, and then you get back that yellow sticker, which you're paying for. You have to pay for return service to get that little yellow sticker back that says that that piece of mail is not mailable or is not valid. So yeah, you
We want to
want to
minimize
prevent
that
the badges
problem.
of shame, right? And if you code those addresses, then you're not mailing to them anymore. And if you're not mailing them to them anymore, then you're saving yourself money because you're not creating those extra mail pieces, and you're not creating sending them out. So it's
Makes
not.
sense.
Yeah, it's deodorant. I mean, it's not all fancy, but it's going to save you money. Sometimes you can save more money by not mailing to somebody than you'll get from mailing to them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can imagine.
Looking at those return rates for the
Yep.
appeals.
Yep. And then like return service, it could be like $1 a piece.
What is a stat, Adrienne? Isn't it like, and you're the expert, but I thought it was like 20% of the population moves in any given year. Is that correct?
Yeah, about 15% of the population moves every year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
And
a lot.
especially like around this time of year in the
Yeah.
in the summer months, because people are trying to move before school starts and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So before that fall mailing, you need to make sure you get it. You run your address finder or your NCOA update.
Okay.
So now that I have my addresses are all great and they're all coded, and now I actually know, one, how many good addresses I have, how many bad addresses I have, and you know, how many people are suspect, right? I have an address, but it's not fully coded. And there are services that you can go one or two routes, right? Depending on your assessment. So if most of your addresses are good and you feel like you're in a good spot, the next thing I would do was to start, you know, filling in the holes that I have. So phone numbers, email addresses, and I would start checking like the validation of my phone numbers and the validation of my email addresses, you know, making sure everything that I have is deliverable. Yeah. And because a lot of people have email addresses, but email addresses go bad. Like I have 5 of them, and sometimes I don't keep track of all of them. And
Still got a
Only
Hotmail
one
account?
or two. Yeah.
no,
Only
but I
one
do
or
have a
two you
Yahoo
actually
account.
check.
Right?
No, I do too, and I never check that Yahoo account.
Yeah.
Now, Adrienne, how
I
would
do
we
for my
check?
coupons.
Yeah, there you go.
God.
So how do you check that? So how do you check that your emails are deliverable?
Well, there are a lot of companies that have email verification services.
Okay.
Blackbaud has one.
Right.
And basically what a client will do is just send us an ID and an email address. And that information is being run, kind of hit up against the ISP to see if the email is deliverable. So you're not even having to send out an email to find out if the address is deliverable. And it'll tell you if it's a spam trap, if it's actually a deliverable email, if it's malformed. So rather than having Gmail in your thing, you might have GMAI or instead, yeah, right. If it's not spelled correctly or letters missing or something like that.
Okay.
And then you can go and fix that data in your database or stop mailing to them, because the more you mail to spam traps and things like that, it messes with your internet reputation, and ISPs can block you. And you don't
want that.
Yeah, deliverability. You know what? We should have a whole episode on deliverability.
Yes.
It's really important, and I think it's very misunderstood.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we will definitely have an episode.
That's actually pretty fascinating, and nerdy, down into the weeds, detailed topic, but it's important.
Yep.
We should do that. We've got some good people who really know that stuff well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
All right, I got to clear this to write more. So
what is going on here with this screen capture thing? This is wild.
That's actually really cool.
You like it?
I do.
I like the way you're working the screen, Lauren.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys.
Capturing.
All right.
Good job.
Going for next notes.
All right.
Look, I can put a stamp.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice.
Love data health.
Love data health. You got it. That's great. All right. What's our next step?
Well, now the other thing I would do, so like if, like I said, there are two roads you take. If I'm in a good space, I'm going to move on to my emails and my phones, and I'm going to make sure that information is where it's supposed to be. But say I'm not in that good a space. I've got a lot of invalid addresses. I got a lot of information that I'm missing. Then I might kind of take a step and see if I can get that beefed up before I start looking for my phones and my emails, because if I don't have an address, then I can't clean up my phones and my emails and that kind of good stuff.
Okay.
And there are certain kind of services that you can use. A lot of this stuff is going to have to be pay service for when you're missing stuff. It's a heck of a lot easier and cheaper to keep track of your donors than it is to have to go find them or to correct information. Ounce of prevention, pound of cure, right?
Yeah.
So this is more of a cure thing as opposed to prevention. But there are services like a proprietary change of address, or PCOA. And lots of different companies do this. Blackbaud does one. And but what it does is it corrects bad addresses. Okay, so if I'm getting those yellow stickers that say that that number does not exist on this street, or Address Accelerator has identified an address that's bad, it can't standardize, no lot card DPC code, this service can fix those because it's an address correction. So I want to get my addresses corrected. So whether you're using Blackbaud or somebody else, you need to get those addresses corrected, corrects the number, can add the suite or the apartment number. So for those organizations that are in big cities or even not big cities, but for some reason when they got the address, they didn't get the full address, so that mail will get returned if it doesn't have an apartment number.
Up here in Chicago, that got us all the time.
Yep. So it actually includes like a suite or apartment append.
And this is different than what we talked about earlier. So
yeah, because
yes, this is different than an NCOA.
This is now fixing it. It's the PCOA is making, all right, you have something there, but let's make it actually usable.
Right. This is the pound of cure because you didn't do the ounce of prevention with the NCOA.
I think that's super
with the regular NCOA.
It's very interesting because I do feel like we talk to a lot of organizations who might have had legacy databases and they have not kept up with them well.
Yeah.
And then let's say you're newer to Razor's Edge. Maybe you're a new prospect. Cheers to you listening to us out there. But you know, like you're a new prospect and you're interested in Razor's Edge, right?
Right.
That could be something that might be helpful for some of our newer clients who feel uncomfortable with their data. And I don't think I was aware of that.
Yep. And like you can run this type of service on your entire database. Like there are other services like for lost constituent searches and whatnot that you only need to definitely make sure you're only putting lost people for. But
I would imagine, Adrienne, a PCOA might also be good for, well, and of course just general updating for organizations that might have more transient donor bases, right?
Yep,
like for example,
definitely.
like schools or
higher ed, K-12. You know, any organization that can have any part of a young population.
Yeah. Right.
Because they're the least likely to fill out the change of address form, but they're most likely to change their address with their bank. Or to change their driver's license information or whatnot. And that's what a PCOA picks up, the proprietary change of address.
Interesting. Okay. So that's the database it's looking at, not if I submit that change of address form, it's looking at, I put my address somewhere else.
Exactly.
It's
like a marketing change of address.
Gotcha. Now it makes sense to me. One is registered with the post office.
Yeah.
And the other is registered with a bank or some business.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
Exactly. A public organization.
Yeah. And so just one thought that was floating through my head as we're talking about this is a nonprofit database manager could go out and Google this one by one by one. That's one option. And they could try to figure out if they've got the latest data on the
That's
Google
what
stream.
I used to do.
So that's what Tara's known for. But, or they could, and we're not, this is not a big sales pitch. We're just trying to have a helpful, discussion about how to get clean data. But they could do Google, or they could just buy it from Blackbaud or somewhere else. I mean, we're not the only people in town doing this.
Yep.
But they could buy thousands of records, clean up all at once rather than doing one by one. So
exactly.
Yeah, and it's not even just ease of use. If you have that information, you're going to get that mail to that person, and that's what's important. If you can't read them, they're not going to be able to give to you.
Nope. And these are your donors. These are people who've already said they like you, they support you.
Yeah.
And if you're losing 15, 20% of those people just because you can't reach out and you can't ask them. As a matter of fact, you're spending money to not ask them because you're mailing to people whose addresses are bad, or you're calling people whose, phone numbers are not good.
Yep.
You're spending money to not ask them to support or for your continued support.
That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Well, it's also sad. You give to organizations you care about. And that has happened to me before. I've been involved in organizations and, your credit card changes or something, and then they never reach back out. And it's like, well, I guess I didn't care. And it could be because maybe I had a different address, right? Maybe, I normally submit my NCOA, but maybe they didn't update that, perhaps.
Yep.
Yeah, and your NCOA only goes back 48 months. So you only have 4 years. So if you're not doing your NCOA regularly, every single month, people are dropping off. EDQ or a proprietary change of address usually goes back a little bit farther. So you can go back 10 years. It goes back about 10 years.
Yeah.
But if you're using a mail house for your NCOA and you just kind of slacked off on doing it for a while, some mail houses only go back 18 months or 12 months.
Yeah.
So every month you're losing people because it's like a rolling 12 months. So every month you're losing people.
Well, and that's a good question to ask. If you are using another provider, like how far back are we going?
Right. They should be going back to full 48
Are you refreshing
months.
it 3 or 4 times a year?
Yeah,
they should be
that's a
doing it
good point.
quarterly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even sometimes information changes, it's not like a whole move, like zip code changes and things like that. And you want to make sure you're getting your maximum postal discounts. And you want to make sure you're getting all that information that you need.
I love that. That's really interesting. I think a lot of times our clients are looking at their database or even just looking in general, and they don't even realize that Blackbaud can do some of this. So PCOA is actually a really fun thing that Shayne just learned. What are a couple other fun things that our clients might take away from today that they might want to think about? Maybe not even just in the vein of like, I'm going to go through an audit, just, I need to email people more. What are some hot topics you think that our clients might be interested in?
Cell phone updates.
Okay.
I've been hearing more about this. Yeah, people. I've heard more clients are interested in this.
Yep,
nowadays. Mobile
giving is like really high of the different mediums, even more so than online giving. Now, granted, more revenue comes from online giving, and definitely by far still most revenue is mail and phone through mail campaigns and phone campaigns, but cell phone or mobile giving was up, like I think in the charitable giving report had the biggest gains. And you can't solicit someone for mobile giving if you don't have a cell phone number. You know, like there are different companies out there that'll do it for you or whatnot, but you still have to have a cell phone number.
Yeah.
So
well, and high touch efforts as well. Even my parents don't even have a landline anymore. I thought they would never give up their landline.
My grandparents gave up their landline.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all are making me feel old because I still have my landline. I'm clinging on to it for dear life. And the only reason it's just my 6-year-old. I don't know why. I just want school to be able to call me.
I understand that. I can understand.
Even though I'm not
that.
here.
That's fair. Well, I was going to ask, and not to steer us off a topic, but like phone-a-thons used to be all the rage back in the day. Like where do we see that at all? Is it certain verticals still rely on that, or?
Yeah, certain verticals do still rely on that. And, kind of phone campaigns are part of the whole giving spectrum, right? So maybe they don't give when you call them, but maybe they got that message and then they got your letter and then they go online and they give to you.
Yeah.
So,
totally.
or
it's another touch point.
Exactly. It's just another touch point. Higher ed still uses a lot of phone campaigns, but during COVID, it's a little harder, right? It's kind of like that double-edged sword. Everybody's home, so you can reach them. But, I can't put kids in a phone area to make these calls. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Organizations that are still doing it are still, reaping the benefits of it.
Yeah.
But
makes sense.
Does make sense.
Yeah, but still, phone-a-thons and direct mail are where the largest amount of revenue is being received.
Yeah.
Okay.
But people are still getting a lot more, creative in how they're fundraising. So those online campaigns or whatnot, those Facebook ads that just follow you around,
Mhm.
with an organization that you looked up or that you're interested in. Like it's, those things actually work. Those multiple touch points, they really do work.
Now that's a question we get a lot
Mhm.
as solutions engineers, is more about like social media. How do you interact with people on social media? So we have the little field in NXT that's your social media presence.
Mhm.
Are there some services that people could take advantage of there, or not so much?
There are peer-to-peer services. Like we do
Okay.
have a peer-to-peer model that will tell you how likely your donor is to give to a peer-to-peer, or who would be a good peer-to-peer candidate, like a good captain, and how much they could raise and that kind of stuff.
Huh.
So we do have modeling efforts in that. But and then Email Finder will help you find email addresses or things like that, so that you can do that sort of thing. We do have we don't have a lot in that realm right now.
Yeah.
Like a lot of that's kind of wrapped up in the Team Raiser type stuff.
But that's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
knowing who might give to a peer-to-peer campaign, you could have Just Giving, or you could be using a non-Blackbaud platform.
Mhm.
Being able to send them maybe a particular campaign is pretty cool, I think.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we might have steered off track a little bit. So
Yeah,
you're still
sorry, Adrienne.
on your-
I got
no,
you
it's
on
all
a new
good.
track.
No, it's all great. It's but you're plowing through this new role, this new set
Right.
of responsibilities, and you're getting this data. When
Right. I'm
when
filling in
you're
my
done,
holes.
it's going to be so clean.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
Right. So
What's
then the
happening?
next thing I do, so like once I got my addresses straight, if I still have a big mountain of lost constituents, like that the address is older than 10 years, I'm going to put those in a corner, because I know I still need to clean up my database. But there are actually things you can do for, those lost constituents too. We do have a people finder service, or there are lost constituent services where they can take, really old address information and find current address information. These services should only ever be used on people that are truly lost, meaning they have not given to your organization in over 10 years. They're not like recently lapsed donors or anything like that. There might be parts of the address that are missing, but most of the address is present. The address needs to be a valid old address, so whatever you can do to beef up that information before using a lost constituent search, but it should only be used on truly lost people.
Mhm.
So I would definitely do an NCOA, and I would definitely do a PCOA before I ever ventured into a lost constituent search. Mostly because, like, look at where your money's being spent. Do you really want to spend most of your money looking for lost constituents who haven't given to you in 10 years? Or are you
Right.
going to try to, spend most of your money on people who have been supporting your organization, at least in recent years or whatnot? But
It's kind of that tiered approach of like
right.
priorities, where to
Mhm.
really put in that effort, and kind of how it trickles down.
Right. So like if my database is really, 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 really messy, that's not where I'm going to spend most of my time. But we do have services that can do that, but I'll move that to the end. All right. Next thing I would do is I do an assessment of my duplicates, because that's
Okay.
wasting money. That's wasting my money too. Right. So I do a duplicate assessment. We can do duplicate audits at Blackbaud. There's actually one in admin and Razor's Edge, and there's some duplicate features in the web view of NXT. Tell you how many duplicates and stuff you have. If you're new to NXT, I think that for like the first 6 months, you get the duplicate
Mass merge.
utility. Yeah, the mass
Mass
merge
merge.
utility, which is really, 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 really awesome. We've actually turned clients away, and like, you do not need a custom deduplication. Just use the mass merge utility. It's going to clean up all your duplicates.
Mhm.
The mass merge utility is amazing.
And we can either do this now or later, but I think we ought to show people how to assess how many duplicates you have
Mhm.
and how to do the mass merge utility. We might better do another episode on that.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I see
yeah.
the smirks over there.
Yep.
No, I said Well, you see what I wrote. I said the mass merge utility can help with this a lot. Ask Shayne about it.
Okay. Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you do a duplicate assessment,
Clueless.
like Blackbaud can do one. There's stuff that's built into Razor's Edge. Use a mass merge utility, clean up your duplicates so that you don't have a whole lot of extra. Because if you send me 3 pieces of mail to my house
Oh, Lord.
asking me for a donation, I'm like, do you need a donation or do you need a
Yeah.
database cleanup?
I love that.
Yeah.
Like,
That's true too. I mean, how often does that happen? It happens all the time.
Or like
It
I'll
happens
get one
all
and
the
my
time.
husband will get one.
Oh
I'm like,
gosh.
you need householding. You know?
Yes.
Some relationship management.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing I would do after I did my duplicate assessment, I got all my holes filled in, or at least my contact holes. So I'm now in a position where I can start fundraising, right? Because I can mail to people, I can call people, I can email them, I can do all that good stuff. And that's when the fun starts, right? Because now you got to start filling in those other holes. So I would query on the number of people that are missing, like addressee salutations. That's when I would start with the more minutia stuff, because I can mail to Adrienne Chisolm, but do I want to mail to Mrs. Adrienne Chisolm?
Oh my gosh.
Right?
I can't tell you how many hours I would spend exporting a list and then changing every salutation on my 15,000 mailing. I mean, it would take me weeks to go through,
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I used to manually put them in because I clicked that edit checkbox and didn't realize that you could sync it up and save yourself a heck of a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because
So-
you
Heck
can
of a lot
globally
of
add
time.
addressee salutations.
Don't use
based
the edit
on-
checkbox
Yeah, don't.
unless you
Lessons learned.
absolutely need to.
Yeah,
Lessons
don't
learned.
do that unless they truly have a special one. Like mine should be special. I like to be referred to as by my royal names, but but yeah. So addressee salutations, titles that are missing, gender fields that are missing, birth dates that are missing. That kind of information, because that's going to help you with your fundraising, right? Because if I know that the majority of my database is within a certain age range, then maybe my solicitations are going to look a little bit different. Or if
Yep.
it's
Like
a
plan
great
giving.
right?
Got a whole nother
plan giving.
approach.
Mhm.
I had client prospect, I don't know, at some point I had a lot of meetings today, but they came up with the idea with peer-to-peer fundraising, if they could get more birthdays, they could email those folks ahead of time and tell them to spin up a campaign for their birthday or consider spinning up a campaign for their birthday. And I was like, that's brilliant. I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
That's an
Yep.
excellent idea.
So these are things that we can people come to Blackbaud to help them with?
Yeah, a lot of these things Blackbaud can help with. Missing addresses and salutations, that's really just kind of doing a global change to put that information in there if you have the information. So if you have the titles and or if you have the gender information to create the titles. Our managed services team can do a lot of this stuff for you. But then again, this is a lot of stuff they can do themselves if they have the time. So these are like little projects and things like that you want to create to, do I have time to do this? It's important. But if I don't have time to do this, maybe I should outsource it. Like maybe Blackbaud can do this for me. Maybe they can clean up my deceased people, or code my deceased people, fill in my titles, create my addressee salutation so that my database is glistening.
Absolutely. And from a training standpoint, there's, the database cleanup style classes where it shows you some of those global functions and how if you do have that time, you can 100% do this yourself. And I always used to use those classes as, this is a safe space. It's more like therapy. Like we all got the same problems. We've all got messy data, but how do we take control back of that?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I heard Rita back there.
I didn't.
I didn't hear.
Sorry, Rita. It's
Rita.
like 4:45. She's like, "Oh, Mom's gonna be home soon. I've been home all day."
I'm gonna go check in on her.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Okay, cool. Okay, what next?
So like once I've gotten that information in and all of that stuff looks good, I would, is for just my database purposes. Like one, I would start fundraising. Like I would see who I have and I start planning my mailings, but that moves into probably looking at models and all of the kinds of stuff that I'm not sure we're supposed to talk about today. But for cleaning up my database, I would start cleaning up my table entries.
Ooh,
And
always
yeah,
a
I
good
know
one.
it's a terrible thing. And
You also
because
lock down the security to prevent it from people adding all those extra table entries.
yes, absolutely. When I first came into support at Blackbaud, I was like, I wonder why database administrators lock every field. Like you'd get calls from customers and they're like, I can't enter data into this field. Um, and then after a while, you realize when there are 36 phone types,
There's
you
a
know,
reason for that.
perhaps there's a big, perhaps maybe we should lock these down. But there are tools built into Razor's Edge that can, do table cleanup and all that good stuff. And if you can't clean them all out, at least mark them as inactive so everybody can't see them. And like you said, lock the field down.
Table cleanup is magic.
Yes, table
that was
cleanup
one I
is
always like to
magic.
show. I'm like, watch what happens, guys.
And as a part of table cleanup, like clean up your phone numbers, because there's probably a lot of phone numbers. Like after you did that phone search and you know which phone number is the valid phone number, like you've got a valid phone number, clean those extra, those additionals up, mark them as invalid, or just clean them out of there so that you don't have people confused. Your phone-a-thon people aren't confused about which number they're supposed to be calling.
And make sure you format those phone numbers, because
and you
a
don't
lot
have to
of
do
those
one by one.
exactly a lot of those I could type in letters in this field if I don't format it properly. So try to avoid all the human error that we tend to have.
And then there's a part of like kind of avoiding that human error. If you're in Razor's Edge or Razor's Edge NXT, we have a service called Address Accelerator. And Address Accelerator is like, as you add an address, it'll standardize the address for you. Works in the U.S. and Canada. So,
oh, nice.
So depending on what state, where you live, what kind of database you have. But yeah, so as you're typing in that address, to prevent those yellow stickers, and to prevent having to run a proprietary change of address to correct your addresses, it'll standardize those addresses. It gives you the lot carton DPC code. If you're in Razor's Edge, it'll give you the county information, which is also important, especially like in South Carolina, we have the Tri-County area, right? So like one zip code can be in 2 different counties. If you're doing, work where, you're doing a gala or something like that, and you want to make sure you're getting people from the right spot.
Well, and depending on the organization, some of them rely on like certain county constituents. So another good layer for them to have, for sure.
So that address accelerator, for example, if you want it to always abbreviate street as ST, it'll automatically put in ST instead of spelling it out. Is that one thing it does? Or
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Or say you're having a mailing and like you're going to have a big gala 2 years from now, and you want your invitations to be spelled out completely. It can do that too. So you can like just create a query of those people that you're inviting, run set Address Accelerator to spell it out in the wedding format is what we call it, and it'll it'll spell out all those records. You can do your export, and then you can change them right back so that you don't have to live with that format.
Gotcha.
Love it.
Cool.
Yeah. So cleans all that up, and like at this point you're good to go. But there are some other like data projects and stuff that you could do. You could fill in your gender information. That's always good to have. I think we talked about that in the birth date information. There's also
what is the service that fills in the birth date information? Is
Age Finder.
Age Finder. All right.
And that'll give month and year, right? It doesn't give the actual day.
Correct. It just gives month and year.
Okay.
That's all you really need, though.
Yeah, just to get the age. It's not birth date finder. It's age finder.
Right.
So you can still send out. I know we used to do birthday cards at the first of the month for the entire month. So you can still have those communications, and it doesn't have to be on the pinpoint date if you don't have it.
Sure.
Right. And then like where's really the most helpful is what you were saying, like for plan giving. You know, like who are those people that are in that sweet spot for plan giving? And we're also finding that younger people are starting to think about their designations for plan giving. You know, organizations that they're passionate about.
Interesting.
Yep. And your plan giving donors are usually just like your regular annual giving donors too, and your major giving donors. Yeah. So not putting that information in front of them is wasting an opportunity.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. So like in addition to services to information like Age Finder, we have other like attributes that we can append to, like occupation, like what kind of occupation, education, certain income fields. So we also have other information like that that we can append to kind of get that whole 360 view of your donor. You know, if there's other kinds of information that you want to append.
So this makes me think, you know, if I'm about to go into a campaign, I need to I'm going to build a new clinic next to my shelter. And I want to start fundraising. A lot of this information would be super helpful, right? For a number of reasons. Number one, of course, all the cleanup will make sure I get all the information there. But I think it would be worth a conversation with Shayne about Age Finder, occupation, education. All those little things could be really helpful in just identifying how you want to solicit those people. What do I want my mailing to say, right? And what kind of mailing do I want to send them? I think that's a really big deal. And then, like Terry, you said, you could send people birthday things and just kind of create a buzz around your campaign, but make it feel really personal. And I think that's important.
Well, and I think to the concept of a campaign, you think about a lot of nonprofits will hire a consultant to kind of run that campaign and run that direction. And that can be a big expense, right?
Yep.
Where investing in the data cleanup, you could have the best strategy in the world, but if you don't have accurate information, it's going to fall flat. That's got to be a part of the conversation.
Yep. Waste of time, waste of money, garbage in, garbage out.
Yep.
Because your major giving officers or your consultants cannot reach out to people if they don't have information to reach out to them with.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, but if you're starting a campaign or something like that, and you're really like you've done your cleanup, you've done your due diligence, then you probably want to venture into modeling information or affluence and things like that to find out, you know, do my donors have the capacity to give to me, and at what capacity can they give to me? Do they have that interest?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I love it. I'm so inspired. I want to clean my closet again and see if I can get rid of stuff this time.
Yeah.
I'm inspired.
All that stuff is you guys just kind of touched on this, I think, but you know, the personalization is more important than ever. I mean, if you can really make it relevant to that unique individual, and the only way you can personalize it is really have a lot of different data points, you know, and you know, if it's a female who's a certain age, living in a certain area, you can create a personal type of message for that person, you know.
The more you know, the easier it is to build that relationship.
Yeah. And you can really get a lot deeper. Like with modeling, you can do like the full 360 view of that donor. But you cannot do that full 360 view of that donor if you don't have a good address.
Yeah.
Like every service, I don't care if you're using Blackbaud or you're using somebody else. If they don't have a good address, or if they can tell you that they can do it without having a good address, they're lying.
I love, you know, your thought process of like where the priorities lie, because in training, it's like, okay, you really have to set this up, but to know the address. So even if you just want to email them, you got to make sure it's the right person, and that address is going to help with that. That's crucial.
Exactly. You're not going to find an email address without a good address. You're not going to find a good phone number without a good address. You're not going to find anything without a good address.
You're right. That's the foundation.
Love that.
Good stuff.
This was okay. Well, I think we have to have you on again, because I don't even think we scratched the surface.
Well, I've been here 22 years. I'll probably be here 22 more.
Okay. Good. I love this. Yeah, this was great.
Yeah, man. Super helpful. All right. Well, let's sort of wrap it up. Thank you, Adrienne. That was awesome. And we'll let you know if people chime in with more questions or
Dude,
I
I'd love to
suspect
use
some
it.
people are going to say, "Oh, I love that idea. How do I actually do it?" And we might have to come
Right.
back, demonstrate exactly how they do some of these things. And
If
in
I'm
the
prepared,
cases,
I'll write down the steps of the query. I could demonstrate the query. Okay.
yeah, no, I can't just be throwing query stuff on the spot at Lauren. No, that's not good. I wouldn't want to try to do it. But
Or maybe
any
if they
big
even need
plans
a
for
like a
the?
more of a personal, like I want you to show me something, or like what do I need in my database and things
Yeah.
like that. We're happy
Yeah.
to do that.
Oh yeah, we can do
Awesome.
it. We can dive right into some
Mhm.
specific client's data and look exactly to find out what's going on
Mhm.
for them.
More of a one-on-one type thing.
Yeah, I love doing that stuff. What are you guys doing this weekend?
What are we?
I'm celebrating my birthday.
Yeah.
What are you
Oh,
gonna
that's
do?
right. You did tell us it
Yeah.
was your birthday.
I'm gonna play video games in my loft.
Quarantine
Nice.
birthday.
Like quarantine birthday.
Woohoo. Love it.
Awesome.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We're
You're
just
gonna be,
we're just
32?
beaching and stuff.
I am celebrating an anniversary of 32.
Right.
I like
I won't
it.
say it's a recent anniversary.
Oh, yeah. All right.
A little off.
Love it.
But I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
It was intended. I don't think
Yeah.
actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I have anything really planned, but I'm getting insulation in tomorrow.
Awesome.
I'm pretty excited. The spray foam.
Oh, that
Bring
stuff's
bring my
nice.
energy bill down starting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Couldn't be more timely. The last day of July, it is freaking hot in Charleston right now, man.
Mhm.
So
Almost as
I
hot
don't
as it is
doubt
in
that.
August.
I'm pretty excited. It's timely.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
that's
Yeah,
good.
my in-laws will be here for this weekend. They'll leave on Monday, so definitely get some time away from
You
the
need
little
a
one. and she'll
date
get-
day.
I know, even if it's just on the porch. But
Yeah. Or like going to the park and sitting
Mhm.
with a bottle of wine in the park or something.
yeah,
Definitely
we'll have
need
to figure out what our date will look like. But definitely taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. I was about to call my brother today and be like, can you please just come over for a little while?
Give me a couple hours.
Yeah.
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 Well,
should do
awesome.
that. All right. Well, let me.
Well,
switch,
happy birthday,
headphones.
Adrienne.
Yeah. Happy
Thanks.
birthday.
Yeah.
All right,
Thanks,
we got to
Adrienne.
dance it
We
out.
gotta
Switch
fade it
the,
out.
I can't
Got my
hear
two-step
on
ready.
this. Here
All
we
right.
go. Ready?
My dog's looking at me like I'm crazy.
Oh wait. No. Hang on.
Booby.
Did you hear it?
No.
I got to click share. Share.
Sharing
Okay,
computer sound.
now.
Check.
Mhm.
Nothing.
It sounds like it's distant
What's it
playing
doing?
something.
Do you have on the wrong headphones?
Yeah, maybe in the
He
wrong
swaps
hand.
them back and forth.
Okay.
It's a whole thing.
Typical. This is my typical audio engineering challenges.
I was a sociology major. I cannot.
Can't troubleshoot those.
We
Yeah.
all have our special skill set.
There
There we
we
go.
Maybe wants to
All
say
right,
hi.
get you some. Hey, Ruby.
Cheers.
Oh.
There we go.
There
See
you
ya.
go.
Bye, guys.
That was
Bye.
fun.
Bye.
Thanks, Adrienne.
No problem.